Alright folks, welcome to this exciting video where we're once again in Angus, Scotland here, and we've come to explore a piece of World War Two airfield history here. And we're back at the Stracathro Aerodrome, which I have explored in depth recently with the channel DJ. If you go back you'll see some Stracathro Aerodrome videos. But yeah, today's video we're at a different corner of the airfield because there's this abandoned buildings here near the roadside in this rough wet grass, so I thought, yeah, why not come back and document them. I was here one time years ago for a look around, and it was the winter back then, so it wasn't so overgrown, but I just thought, yeah, we'll come back, fresh explore, fresh adventure, and we can document this World War Two history. So cool. Look at this underfoot here, there's actually cement, where there's been cement bases for buildings all over this whole area here. And this whole, like, lot of fields and that in front of me here, that was all the airfield. There was a little defensive bunker across at that wood that we visited the last time we were in the Stracathro area. But today we've come to look at this. And this is the little building over here, folks. This is crazy. All this long grass is just a nightmare to walk through when it's soaking, but it's definitely starting to die back now a bit. It's a lot easier to walk through now than it was like a month ago when it was the height of summer. And then look at this, folks, this is like scrap metal or whatever, which is from all across the airfield, or it could even be from the farm, which is just along here. Look at this. So I believe this building here would have been like a generator shed for the whole airfield back in the war. I think this airfield was operational from 1942 to 1948 as a training airfield. So yeah, let's take a look at this history, folks. See, on the roof you can see how there's a cradle of stones up there, and I think there would have been a large metal fuel tank up there at one time, and then the pipes would have come down into this little building here, which is like a generator shed and a substation all in one. Whoa, let's get in here, folks. Look at this, World War Two history, folks, right here on the channel once again. Whoa, is that a World War Two oil drum, folks? I've never seen one with the tap on the side before. Look at this is where, I believe it must have been like a substation at one time. This is crazy, folks. Look at this must have been where the power used to come in. I'm not going to touch obviously any cables and that, because you never know if things are still live. Look at that, the big cable coming in the hole in the floor there. I've got all these old boxes. I believe there would have been a power supply coming into this site, but also there was a generator in the next shed, so if the power had been cut, the airfield could still operate. It's like they've maybe been ripping the cables out of here recently. Look at this, folks, there's been like some sort of control box mounted on the wall. Wow, look at the old light switch. It's an old like wartime light switch. Oh, look at that, there's what must have been brackets for cables. All that's obviously been taken out for the copper, which is within all that. That's incredible, folks, look at that. There's where the generator plinth is in the next room. It's so cool to explore this history, folks. That'll be like original army green paint right there. It's cool to document these buildings before they're gone forever, because every year they fall down more and more. Nature takes over, and I say it a lot in my videos, but it's so true. I'll leave the door as I found it. There we go, folks, look at that, old oil drums in there as well. So interesting. So I think, like nowadays, this is owned by the local farmer, because at the end of the war, after these places were like not in use anymore, all the land was just given back to the original landowner, which would have been the farmer. Look at this, folks. What's this been? This is like another little room. Look, it's had doors on it at one time. I think there's a lot of oil drums and stuff here. I don't know if that's been for servicing the motor on the generator or what. They've been creating a serious amount of power here. It's probably been for communications as well as lights and stuff like that over the whole airfield. It's cool to see like the ducts and that's still there, leading along. Wow, so interesting. I'm not sure what this has been doing here. There's maybe been like cable ducts. Look at that. The side here is like broken away. There's maybe been cable ducts leading off to other areas like within the airfield. Anyway, let's head on round to the side where the generator must have been positioned. So interesting, folks. Look at the character of this. World War Two history. It's my favourite like time frame to explore. There's so much like interesting stuff from that era. Look at this. This whole area here is just like filled with relics of history, bits of corrugated iron, bits of posts and stuff like that. It's absolutely crazy. We'll drive through these trees. Oh, look at this, folks. Here we go. There's a metal pole. I wonder if it's been. I wonder what has been there at one time. That's like a guy rope. There's so many midges within this. I'm trying to get obviously to there. I'll have to go back this way. Real adventures, folks. All this stuff's so overgrown. It's just crazy. I don't know if these midges come out on the camera, but there's just thousands of them. Look at this, folks. This is where the generator must have been. This is so cool. I love history like this. Look, there's been a bird moved in here. So I like to try and document every detail when I come to a place like this. Because obviously it's not long before it's gone forever. Look at the old light switch. The old character of those light switches is so cool. There's been cable conduits run all over the place. And look at this. This is what I thought was maybe like a motor mount. But I'm wondering if this has been a mount for a pump. Because look at this big pipe leading on down under the ground. Not unless that's been a cable duct for like a starter or something on it. But that thick duct there must lead on round to the duct that we saw at the other side of the building. And look at this big massive like mountain beams on there. Whatever that's been for, it's like big cast pieces. This is the original World War Two green paint on the side of here. It's so interesting to see that. I'm just really trying to document all the history, folks. Those old vents. Yeah, so there we go. A little World War Two airfield generator shed, power shed of its era. And it's had these, at one time it's had these louvers on the window here for obviously venting the air in and out. And then look how strong the roof's been at one time. And yeah, I can actually see too, like there's a power pole up there which must have led out over the whole airfield from here. Real history right here, folks. This has been so cool to look at this again. I'll switch off this torch now. Let's head on round now, folks, because there's another building here which we'll go and take a look at. I don't know what this building's been, if it's been like a control room or something for the airfield or what. It looks to me like somebody has recently been walking through here. See, at this time of year, folks, this is willow herb, this stuff here, and it's just absolute nightmare to walk about in. It spreads its seed so like well. When it blows wind, the willow herb just literally blows its seed all over the place. But I'm really wanting to get to this building here. I think if I can get across, here, folks, we're alright. This is real adventures. I never used to put the boring bits like this into my videos, but look, here we are, look at this, I've just found more history. Look, there's been some sort of cement base right along here. This could be the edge of another building here. There's been so much from World War Two, which nowadays is just gone. The history is like wiped out forever, and lost to time. Yeah, look, we'll go and take a look at this little building here. I'm not even sure what this one's been, but we'll see if there's any clues inside it. This is crazy, folks. Real deal adventures right here on the channel. I'm literally like just pushing through. Right, I'll get myself cleaned up. Look how wet I am. Look at that. There's been something on there. I'm not sure what this room did, like I say. It has had a central wall at one time in the middle, and I think it's had a new top bit of the roof put on since the war. That looks like the original beams. Look at that original wiring as well. It's got the hairy wiring. I've just noticed there's some raindrops on the lens, folks, so I'll just give you a clean and I'll get back to you. So yeah, I'm just thinking this was probably most likely a toilet block, or a toilet block I would say. Look at this. You can see the dividing marks on the wall. There, and there. Now look, from two of the cubicles there's pipes leading out. So it could have been a toilet block. They had all sorts of stuff obviously for the soldiers that were stationed in places like this. Every need they had was catered for. There's nothing around this side of the building to see. Yeah, those are interesting marks there for sure. See, the middle section goes right to the roof, whereas these other ones are just like halfway, so it's more likely these were like cubicles. But then also there's been windows at the back of here. Yeah, it's interesting, folks. If anyone knows, get in the comments. It looks like this white magnolia paint is original to the building, so it would have been a lot brighter and fresher back in the day. There's some unusual shaped stones kicking about here too. Let's take a look around here. See, this area is now used for flying model airplanes. This is an RC airplane like play area, folks. It's pretty cool that there's still planes flying about of some sort here. Anyway, let's push on out of this long grass. This is like totally the wrong time of the year probably to be coming through here, but it's always cool to go on an adventure. So in the war, a lot of these airfields and aerodromes and stuff were disguised as farms. So like anybody, like the Germans and that, who were doing aerial reconnaissance, they would often think, oh, it's just a farm, it's not an airfield. But the German, like the Luftwaffe, did take aerial photographs of this airfield, and on the photographs they call it the Brecon airfield. And those photographs are still online to this day, because I remember seeing them. I can see here there's more evidence of like a building. See, I think this end of the airfield would have most likely been like a barracks, I would think, up next to this sort of main entrance into the airfield up here. Like a lot of these airfields now though, like the farmer uses this yard here for storage, whereas at one time it could have been like aircraft maintenance and stuff like that. Back then it would have been Spitfires and Hurricanes and all kinds of cool World War Two planes. Yeah, Like, this is one of the probably the original buildings here. I think most of the buildings on this site are original, but also there's been buildings removed from here as well. Probably because they were that like far gone. They just started to fall down. Let's push on through this spider infested wilderness. See what's down here. Let's take a look, folks. This looks like, this end looks actually open here, but it's pretty run down. Yeah, look at, wow, that'll be like an original World War Two corridor. You can literally see how long that is. Wow. This will be some like original World War Two building, I would say. And what's this on the roof? Look at this, there's a beam here. They must have been able to hook something on there now. Roll it along. If anyone knows about that, get in the comments. So interesting. And then look at this. Here's the little model aeroplane airfield. What a cool place. Sometimes farms like this have got like pig sheds and stuff, and a pig shed can often look like a World War Two building. Or sometimes World War Two buildings were converted into pig sheds at the end of the war. But this building here has actually got the look of a pig shed. The way it's got the vents on the walls, and yeah, it is interesting. I'm not sure if it's been a converted building or it might have just been built as a pig shed on the World War Two site. With all this rubble, all probably laid in the World War Two time frame. It gets hauled up so obviously the land can be reused for farming, which is far more lucrative in the modern world. It's incredible the amount of bits of buildings and bricks and cement and all that work that went into the war effort back in the 1940s. Even at a place like this that was just for training, it's incredible the amount of like labour that must have gone into constructing it. Here we go, folks. This is more World War Two buildings at the opposite side of this airfield here. Look at them. The character of these old buildings is so interesting. They've all got the red bricks with the thin cement render on them. I can see there's been some windows filled in at one time. So many years have passed since the war. A lot of these places have obviously been repurposed for probably storage and that for whoever lived in that house at the end. It's pretty crazy, folks. Look at that. World War Two history. This could have been anything. It could have been like a map room, or who would even know? It's incredible. Like, I can't see any like interesting details. There's a lot of junk and stuff in here. That'll be the original like little window there, I would think. Which is so cool. I can see underneath all these bushes and that there's a solid cement base under here, which must have been like the little path to the door of the building. I'm just having to take the easiest route here through the long grass because it's just an absolute nightmare to walk on. Wow. Coming to a place like this just blows my mind with like the history and the decay. It's got so much character when it's at a certain level of decay. This here will be an original World War Two building as well. So you can see these windows here. Wow, this one's just literally like on its last legs here. We've just come in time here to document the history before it falls down forever. Wow, the old door. It's obviously been used for storage as well for whoever used to live in that house. There we go, folks, old window. So I was just taking a couple of photos here and I noticed a couple of interesting points. This door here has been a big door into this room. So I'm not sure what this room originally had been, but also it's got these big cutouts there and there. And there is evidence of like electrical cables. And then look, there's been a door leading through to the next, whatever shed's at the next wall for here. So yeah, there's a few layers of history in this little building. Look at this. Evidence of some old wiring right there. So cool, folks. World War Two history. Look, there's been something mounted on this wall here. And you can see there's a wire which has been connected to it. Wow, yeah, so all these buildings here were pretty much connected through. Don't think there's a lot in most of these buildings as well. It's been used for storage. It's been used as a shed from a far more recent time. It's so cool, folks. I always say it's so cool, but it literally is. All these just look like sheds, and I'm not in the way of like prying and poking through people's property. If it's clearly like private property, I'm not going in. I'm just here to document the history of World War Two, and if I can't get into something, I didn't force my way in. Look at this. This has been all buildings here, maybe barracks or offices or something like that. I can see this one's had a wee chimney in the middle of it. These wooden buildings I've never looked at before, and they've got so much character. I can see it's had big power cables mounted on the end of the wall at one time. These buildings are definitely World War Two as well. I'm not sure what they've been, if they've been like offices or maybe canteens and stuff of that kind. Oh, it's had like wooden floor. It's been fully wooden. I don't know if I would actually trust going inside buildings like that just now though, because obviously it's on its last legs. Look at this. Oh, this has had a sliding door, look at that. World War II sliding door, folks. Still got the original green paint on it as well. Yeah, this must have been offices and stuff like that. Maybe where like, maybe the officer's quarter, where he would like control airfield. It's really no worth trying to climb on the floor though, for all we can see in here. But it's amazing the plaster and stuff's still on the wall, considering it's getting all the weather on it. Yeah, this bit here's fallen down. This has been a big kind of like office area, I'm guessing. Wow. Look, it's been massive because it goes right through there. But it's no worth trying to climb about on the rotten floors. So as you can see for the condition of these buildings, they're just literally on their last legs here. It has been so interesting to have a wee look around, just documenting a little bit of World War II history before it does fall down. Obviously, look, the farmer's using this now for stuff. There's an old bit of vintage equipment in there. Pretty cool. We love all the old fashioned stuff on this channel, folks. No, just even World War II. Some of the old farming history is proper cool. Yeah, I'll take a wee look over here. These buildings have been a lot bigger at one time. Now they look like they're used by a farmer. Yeah, this must be just like a little shelter kind of area for the cows or whatever that's in there. Or the sheep. It's interesting to think like what a lot of these buildings and that must have been used for originally in the war. It is interesting as well that again we can still see them. Look, there's some sort of metal lid there on the ground. It's maybe an underground like wire conduit for all the cables and stuff. A lot of these airfields had that for runway lights and stuff like that. Yeah, look at that. I was actually thinking this is one of the original hangars right here. This curved building here is an original World War Two Hangar, I think. So let's go and take a little look at that. It's obviously like full of tatty boxes and stuff now, but we'll just get a photograph of it in case it falls down. At one time there would have been a lot more of these hangars here around the airfield. The size of this thing's absolutely massive. I've never actually seen one of these things up close, but I've always been told this is like the World War Two hangars. Obviously I'm not going to go inside it and that when the door's shut, but I just wanted to get a photograph of it for this angle. I don't think it's got a lot of years left in it, judging by how it looks. It could even just be, like, to me it just looks like a farm shed, but I have always been told that it is a World War Two hangar. This is us now entering back onto the main runway, which me and the channel DJ explored probably like a month or 2 months ago. Look, there's a drain or something like that. No, unless that was one of the runway lights or something. I'm not even sure, folks. I was just thinking I could take a wee walk down this road and see if there's any cool history. Because I think this runway from here on round, they just use it for storage nowadays. They use it to store stuff like this Barracks and all the other kind of stuff probably off this site here. And at one time this was all airfield to my left. Now obviously it's used for growing some fine Scottish crops here. So I've come down this little track here for the farm to see if there was anything interesting down here, but it's taken me to the field where me and the channel DJ were at the little bunker. But there's nothing else exciting down here, unfortunately, that I can see. But I'm sure when we were in the wood, when we were actually in that forest there's a couple of like anti-aircraft, what could possibly be anti-aircraft positions. Somebody got in the comments saying it might have been a set of twin Lewis guns that was mounted on them. It's just like a small scale anti-aircraft airfield defence position, because it could have also been more for training people to defend airfields rather than people actually having to defend the airfield. Yeah, it's cool. Cool history, folks. So this is it, folks. This is the bit which I was just talking about with the twin Lewis machine guns potentially as a small scale anti-aircraft position to defend the airfield, but also in the training of defending the airfield. In the middle of here there would have been, this would have been deep enough so that a man's head would have been kind of about this height lower down. There was a post in the middle with like a bit of pipe on it for the gun to rotate, whatever type of gun it was. And I believe if they had come into like direct attack, they could have either sheltered in there, or those little shed bits there must have been for ammo storage. And this is an unusual one at this site because they both sit back to back, whereas I've seen other identical sites to this at this airfield at the far side and there's just a single like setup. So if there had been anti-aircraft guns here, it must have been quite a sound when they were firing. Look at this, you can see from this one how full of water it is. It's crazy. Oh look, I forgot about this though. This one still has the post in the middle of it where the gun would have been mounted. And like, I have seen other YouTube videos and that of the war, and they did just have a post like that for their anti-aircraft gun. So it is interesting. It is interesting World War Two history. And yeah, when me and the channel DJ came here, we had no idea what it was, so it's often interesting just to come back. Since it was so close, just update the history, folks. Keep the local history alive with these kind of old airfields and that. And you can see they're just getting taken over by nature, literally. Covered in moss and long grass. It's crazy. Right folks, we'll leave these historical wonders in peace until the next explorer comes past to give them a visit. And yeah, I'll head on back up to where we started this video from, at the main hub of the airfield. And yeah, I'll update you once I get there. I'll not bore you with me clambering through all this long grass and bushes. So this whole site at Stracathro airfield here has just been absolutely massive in its day. It's crazy to think all these years later, and there is still some remnants of it here, just standing, decaying. And when you see that, you realise how close to total decay it actually is. Oh, I've just noticed a cool feature here folks. Look at this old outside lamp that's been on there at one time, on the end of the building. It's cool. Wow, the ground's so soggy here. Yeah, that could have been like barracks or offices or anything like that back in the day of the war. Like, I would think there would have been original buildings there. They've probably been repaired and worked on though since the war, but wow. Look, they've had like a little kennel kind of bit on the side at one time. Must have been the farmer. I'm really going in here because look at the condition of the floor. But look, it's had a letterbox and stuff. It must have been like RAF Stracathro. The letters must have been sent here from wherever they were, all over the world, right into the people that they knew. This could have been like a little post sorting room even. They probably had all that sorts of stuff back in the days of the war. Anyway folks, I'll end this one here. Thanks very much for watching. Tune in again very soon for the next adventure. See you soon.